It has certainly been a frenetic 100 days since Tottenham Hotspur last tasted a Premier League victory way back on the 28th of December at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. Thomas Frank and Igor Tudor have come and gone, and now it rests with Roberto De Zerbi to avoid the unthinkable of relegation from the top flight. This is how stark the problem is for Spurs. Of the 92 teams in the top four leagues, from the Premier League to the EFL, only Spurs and Sheffield Wednesday have failed to win a league game in 2026, and Wednesday, of course, have been relegated from the Championship with their ongoing financial problems. For more on this, we can speak live to Spurs fan Mitchell Fretton. Mitchell, good morning to you. 100 days without a Premier League victory. What does Roberto De Zerbi need to do to change that against Sunderland?
Morning. Yeah, well, thank you for making me relive my worst nightmares from this season at the start there. It's just all about confidence at this point, I think. You know, we've got still plenty of games left in the season to save ourselves, and as difficult as it will maybe be, he kind of needs to just draw a line under what's happened already and focus on the task at hand and take it one game at a time. Because if he gets off to a winning start against Sunderland at the weekend, all of a sudden the mood flips, the players have got that confidence again, and then you'd hope that we could maybe push on from that point. But everything we've seen from De Zerbi so far behind the scenes since he's arrived to Tottenham has been positive, and that positivity needs to continue.
What have you seen, Mitchell? Sorry, what have you seen that's positive?
Just his obviously his first interviews with the club, behind the scenes of training. Everybody looks to have that extra bit of, I guess, motivation, and they look a little bit more concentrated than maybe we've seen over the last few months. And
is that not just first day at school with the new head teacher? You're not gonna switch off on the. I mean, what I saw, I'll be honest with you, I saw all over socials, and Spurs put it out there as well, was him trying to implement a new system, stripping it right back to basics. I'm surprised Spurs sort of put that out there. I don't know what Charlie thinks of that.
Yeah, it's difficult, I guess, to tell to an extent with those clips that you see behind the scenes. But, you know, the club knew what they were getting into when they hired someone like De Zerbi to come in. They know that he has a certain philosophy and style of play. And, you know, if they wanted to take that risk by bringing him in and knowing that he was going to implement that, then I guess they must have some sort of belief that it can work to an extent. And I guess us fans have to believe that as well, rather than believe that we're just going to continue losing games.
Mitch, you've gone about confidence, and De Zerbi's going to bring the confidence into these players, etc., but they look flat anyway. But you got Sunderland at the weekend, but West Ham play Friday. You talk about confidence. Friday at 10 o'clock at night, Spurs could be in the bottom three.
Yeah. It's do you know what? It's been lovely over the international break trying not to think about that. But reality's hit hard again. And yeah, look, that will be the first, I guess, real indication of just how serious this situation is. If we fall into that relegation zone for the first time, I would hope that serves as the biggest wake-up call yet to those players of the situation that they're in. I don't want to see them sulking anymore. I don't want to see them feeling sorry for themselves. They need to realise the situation that they are in, and they need to fight and battle for every single minute that they're on the pitch between now and the end of the season.
Mitchell, top man, thanks for joining us. And a reminder that you can watch Roberto De Zerbi's first game in charge away against Sunderland. It's live on Super Sunday from 1 p.m. on Sky Sports Main Event. Next, though, which free transfer do you want your club to make this summer? We'll get Charlie Austin's picks next. Welcome back to Sky Sports FC. We've been asking for your voice notes, and we have two to bring you right now. And Liverpool fan Steve, let's have a listen.
Slot's got to go. Performance is absolutely dire since he put his style of play in mid last season. We clung on, late wins, scraping wins to win the title last season. This season's been absolutely awful, abysmal. It's supposed to be a season of building on all those signings, and it's been a season of decline. Enough, I'm afraid. Got to go.
Strong, Charlie?
Yeah, strong, but he's made a fair point. The moment they won the Premier League title, them remaining games and then pushing on, the performances have been not good enough and nowhere near the standard that he set in that first part of the season when he came in and took over. But again, you have that argument of Klopp's team.
Let's have a listen to Dylan, who sent us this one also on Arne Slot.
I think Arne Slot should lose his job at the end of the season, no matter what, because we brought in all these players for all that money, and he just hasn't delivered for us. Despite, even if we win the Champions League, we don't perform well in the league or in the cups.
Right, keep your voice notes coming. Let's talk Leeds, though, shall we, now? Because Leeds have a first FA Cup final in 39 years, semi-final, I should say, to look forward to. But also the small matter of securing Premier League survival. Let's speak live to Leeds fan Ger Lynch. Ger, thanks so much for joining us. It's a tough question for you first up, but look, if given the choice of winning the FA Cup or staying in the Premier League, which one are you choosing, Ger? I didn't write the question, don't blame me.
I think you got to hope to stay in the Premier League. That's the long-term future of the club. That's the long-term vision of the club. Leeds want to go back to where we were. We consider ourselves a big club. If we want to have that in the Premier League, then we need to be in the Premier League.
Joe, looking at it, was you all them months ago when they had the big change? Was you Daniel Farke in or out?
I think I got all the way to the Aston Villa game, and I think I'd said on our podcast, if he doesn't change the team, if he doesn't change the style, and if he doesn't change the approach to the games, then you've got to start looking at changing the manager because something was wrong and something was broken. And then we got to half-time in the Manchester City game. We changed the system, went to a back three, which a lot of fans have been screaming for a lot of the season. The recruitment model was built around these players that were brought in, weren't being used to their strengths. And then from the second half of that Manchester City game on, we stayed with a back three, we went more direct, we stopped playing out from the back, and we saw the run that Leeds went on, that real purple patch that we had in the middle of the season. So, yeah, ultimately, not a case of getting rid of the manager, but changing something. And he did change it, so credit to him for doing that.
I was going to say, he has to be given credit, doesn't he? Because I remember when that board went up at the Etihad and I was at the game and I thought you were going to get a point and it would have been a great point. But I think the Leeds players saw 10 minutes added on and Foden got the goal. But that was the adjustment that the Leeds fans wanted. And since then, look, I know you're not out of the woods yet, but it's been a very, very different half of the season, hasn't it, Jack?
Yeah, it has been, but it's not like Leeds to get a little bit shaky when double-digit injury time comes up after the weekend. We just had a West Ham as well. Yeah, it has been. It's been fantastic, but we knew, and I think I'd said on your programme at the start of the year, Will, that Leeds had to play a certain way this year. They did. They had to try and upset the apple cart a little bit in the Premier League. They had to play to their strengths, and we did it in the first two games. And then we went back to very heavy possession style football. It just didn't suit the players that we'd brought in. But now we're playing to our strengths. I think the players have gotten used to the Premier League over the course of the year as well. And I think they're starting to believe in themselves a bit more. And this Leeds squad has a lot of character and a lot of backbone. And I kind of say they've got a strong backbone and shoulders to carry that shirt of the expectations of the fans. But they've put in performances. We've conceded a huge amount of late goals this year, which is an issue. But they've never dropped their heads at any single point, and they've kept pushing. And again, we saw it at West Ham at the weekend.
Joe, when Dominic Calvert-Lewin came in and was signed, was you pleased with the signing or was you a bit sceptical to it? But I just think how it's changed, everything has with Daniel Farke formation, is that the team are playing for him. So as much as you say they found a way to play, they have found the way to get the best out of him, but also play for the centre forward. And the link-up play between him and Arneson has been brilliant to see.
Well, Charlie, you'll know from being a striker what you're expected to do. Sometimes you're expected to score goals. Sometimes you're expected to link play and be a team player.